Okay, so let's begin our tour of the Ithaval HQ. Here's some cherubs. We do indeed roughly go through all of the enemies we've seen in ascending difficulty. As you might notice, we are fighting some cherubs right now as like the first enemy inside. Technically, we could have fought the dogs first. Actually, you don't fight the dogs in like an actual thing this whole way up. But, you know, whatever. We fight them in roughly ascending order. Now we've got to fight these affinities, which are on fire. Because, I mean, I guess they might as well be, right? You thought they were on fire because the town we were in was on fire? No, that's just what they were doing. Like, it's just their life, man. They just decided that they want to be on fire. Because, I mean, these guys are just on fire. It's just what they do. They like to be on fire. Don't judge. They probably make some fantastic mixtapes, though. That's what we call humor right there. You know, it's very subtle. You know, I don't know if you quite picked up on it. They're very healthy. We're almost through. Look, they've got a lot of HP. The true injustice would be if you could, like, freeze these guys with the Odette, but then they were still, like, on fire underneath and you could take damage from hitting the ice. That sounds ridiculous, but I've played some video games that have exactly that level of logic attached to them, you know? So over here, there's some kind of weird stuff going on, right? Basically, the gist is that inside this building, they make the angels with, like, human sacrifices. That's, like, the whole, like... We've got the angel sacrifice process at an automated level at this point. You know those guys at the beginning who had to, like, manually kill themselves so that they could become the affinities? Fucking losers they were. We got this shit on lock back on Isla del Sol. We've got it fucking automated. You get your own casket on the conveyor belt. So, you know, that was those guys right there. Some of these statues are, like, alive. Like, I think these two are actually alive. I don't know which ones exactly are and which ones aren't. But, you know, they are. Some are. Yeah, where the red liquid are suspended from a giant shaft. Mm-hmm. It's all dead people. It's all dead people. What was that movie called? Because this building reminds me of something from a movie. I think it was called Daybreakers or something like that. It was the movie about, like, the vampires have taken over the planet. And, like, all the regular people... All non-vampires are just, like, being mass-produced, like, in a building very similar setup to this. This is a very obtuse reference I'm going for here. But this building, like, the setup through the window kind of reminds me of that movie. If you've seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. But you probably haven't because it was a very bad movie. Which was very tragic because I loved the premise. Fucking vampire apocalypse, and now they've taken over the world. It was great. I loved the premise, but the movie was terrible. It was very disappointing. Which is often how it goes. You ever see the movie Hush? You know, about the blind guy? The kids break into the blind guy's house? That was also very disappointing to me, because I was just like, man, y'all are fucking over this old man. He's just trying to live his life, and y'all breaking in trying to steal from him while he can't fucking see? But no, then the movie had to go and be like, yo, but did you know Grandpa's actually, like, fucking evil and shit? Oh, god damn it. Can't these kids just be fucking dicks? No. Grandpa had to also be evil. And I do mean, like, evil. You know. That was very disappointing to me. I don't like movies. They tend to disappoint me. So this is what happens when you do that, by the way. It was a little fucked up because we were also, like, in the wall, but, like, that's what happens when you do that. The cherubs have, like, their own kind of, like, special thing, because they don't have a torture attack attached to them. But if you, like... This is why it never happens. You have to stagger a cherub on the ground for this to happen, and if that happens, they generally are just dead. But if there's a staggered cherub, you can do a panther punt, as it's called, which is exactly what it sounds like. You kick the fucking cherub like a football. And it also tends to not really ever do anything, but it's there if you're interested, you know. There's another enemy that does that, but we actually haven't seen it because it's like attached to a boss fight that we haven't seen yet. This guy's not having a good time. You can still see his head like pulsing inside the ice cube. Interesting. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you noticed, but like the tail isn't actually attached to us anymore with these weapons, because the tail part of the alternate costume is actually attached to the feet, not the head, the hands. So here's Salad Fingers, don't worry about it, he's just there, he's just punching the side of the building, it's just what he does. This is like I heard you talking shit, even though we weren't actually talking about him. Don't mind him, he's just gonna be over there, like, doing stuff for a while. We're gonna come over here and we're gonna fight these guys. We're gonna deal with Salad Fingers on the next floor, in, like, a truly, like, depressing way, honestly. I feel very sorry for him that this is what he gets reduced to. But, I mean, whatever, you know. We gotta get maximum use out of this model we produced. You see how big this guy is? Yo, we can't just, like, throw that model away. Come on now, we ain't made of money around here. He's still over there, by the way. Don't worry about it. Don't you worry about that guy. So we're gonna come up here. You could kind of see him through the window blink out of existence right there. So here he is. You might notice there's some mounted guns out here. We are, in fact, going to get on this mounted gun. And by mashing X and Y, we will do this. And he will be promptly staggered for till the end of time. He's like, oh god, stop! Stop with the bullets! Oh my, we bully him very hard. He's, no, stop! He does get to do some stuff, because you have to change guns. Like, he's supposed to shoot this shit at you, but you can just kind of stagger him. But eventually he does this, because he's had enough. But that's okay, we have another mounted gun. It's all good. And now he's actually had some time to, like, start firing these missiles, so this is, like, what you're supposed to be doing, is, like, shooting this stuff. But if you just mash on the buttons together, he just doesn't get to do it. So he's gonna do this, which is, like, awkward to dodge, but I've got the crow within, so it's not so bad. And now we're just gonna bully him again. That's it. That's all you see from Salad Fingers. This is it. He's gonna get killed for real this time. Not because we actually killed him, but because he's just so fucking embarrassed by the trouncing he gets in this fight. He just can't show his face anymore. How's this guy gonna show his face in heaven ever again? He's got thoroughly rinsed by conventional weaponry. How tragic for him it was. So, over here we go. Now we're gonna go up this elevator shaft, right? Here comes the moon, because we've got to get good and, I've forgotten what I was going to say, to be perfectly honest with you. That was a quick time event right there. We got to get prepared for what we're doing, that's what I was going to say. So now we're going to meet our old friend, first off these elevators, but we're going to meet one of our old boss friends around here. Which one's it going to be? It's going to be Babyface. And we're going to fight him on the side of the building. And it's going to be exactly the same as the boss fight we had with him originally, but he has, like, less attacks. We want him to do this attack, because that's the only one he can do here that you can actually get witch time off. And, if I'm gonna be real with you, I find him very inconvenient, because sometimes he just doesn't do this attack, and you just have to be fighting him for a really long time. Because, like, all this other shit, you just don't get it. You do not get it. You're just trying to hit him, and he's like, oh god. He can do, like, 2 other head attacks as well, where he just kind of, like, flops around on the side of the building. He's not doing those, thankfully enough. Oh my, this is unbelievable. The RNG, we're getting to fight this guy so quickly. Now I'll do, like, the attack 5 times in a row and be really inconvenient. Yeah, there's one of them right there. He's actually almost dead, though, because we don't have to, like, fully kill him. There we go. Now we're gonna run along his face again. Yeah, it's the exact same as the boss fight we had with him earlier, basically. Wow, I'm terrible. Wow, I'm terrible. The only difference is we fight him on the side of a skyscraper instead of just, like, a pit. Which, I mean, I guess is more interesting. We don't do the climax, though. Which is, like, the most interesting thing about his boss fight. We just kind of, like, do this. Oh, it's kind of awkward. It had to rematerialize our clothes very suddenly. We just do this, and he's kind of dead. I don't know if you've noticed, like, through gameplay, but when you do the Wicked Weaves, her catsuit actually just turns into, like, a swimsuit, like One Piece. Right there, because, I mean, she's using some of her hair, but not all the hair, you know? That whole thing. In we go. We're almost at the top now. We've just got to go through infinity. You think I'm joking? No, we're going through infinity right now. Look at this room. I mean, that's the statue, but, like, look at this room, right? We got a better look at it when we go up here. Like, look at this room, though, dog, you know? It's like a fuck. It's just infinite. It's just space. It's just space, man. Now we do this, and for some reason, doing this has this effect. This room is very much a non sequitur for me. I don't really see why this happens, but I mean, I guess it looks impressive, and that's the important thing. So there's some infinities that spawn over there. We don't actually have to worry about that. Fuck. No, please. Not like this. No. That's very awkward, because I found the exact boundary of the infinity background right there. Alright, so now we're back down here, which is, you know, that's just absolutely peachy. You wouldn't believe me if I told you, but that's, like, the first time I've ever fallen off of these things to begin with. Which, I mean, must sound unbelievable, because I am quite terrible, but, you know, honest, I've never actually fallen off these things. If you're on hard instead of affinities back there, it's joys, I'm pretty sure. Here's this guy again. I don't think he can do anything different. I mean, he never did this before, but I don't know if he could actually do that on the last fight or not. Oh yeah, we're just gonna fight this guy again. And weirdly enough, this is the guy... Fucking hell. This is the guy that gets to still have, like, his climax finish afterwards, despite him not being an actual boss. Right? Like, think about it. We fight Salad Fingers, we fought Babyface, we also fight Lizard. But none of them get to still have their climax. This guy does. That's a fucking weird sentence to say. I just thought about what I said, and I was basically like, these angels don't get to have their climax, which, like, you know, they get up to some weird shit in heaven, but whatever, you know. So he's just doing the snake thing. There we go. That's what we want to see. The attack that, like, basically can't hit you. No, we don't want to see this one. I'm not even going to go up and hit him, because I'm just afraid of getting hit because I'm terrible. We might get to stagger him. Oh my goodness. That doesn't happen very often. No, don't you... okay. Yeah, that does do damage when it reconnects, doesn't it? But honestly, you get to stagger him so rarely, I forgot him reconvening like that actually does damage to you. Now I get to do this again. We've gotten no better at volleyball across our journey, by the way, which is very sad. So here's a question for you, right? Bayonetta's been ported to PC, like we're playing the PC version right now. So, out there somewhere, right, there must now be a mod where Bayonetta is just naked, because come on, that obviously must exist at this point. How long do you reckon it took for somebody to make that mod? Because I'd reckon within the week would be when it materialized. So we're almost at the top now. We've only got one enemy left to fight. It's Lizard Man. We're gonna fight him up here. He kind of has his own gimmick attached, which is kind of cool. I mean, it's cooler than Salad Fingers. I'm not gonna tell you it's an exciting gimmick, but it's here. So you see, the building is currently in the process of exploding behind us. So we have to do enough damage to the guy to push him forward, because otherwise you get blown up. This doesn't really make any sense if you think about it, because we're pushing him backwards, but backwards is up the side of the building, rather than any, like, down or anything. So it's odd he gets staggered up like this, really. I'm not going to tell you this is exactly a difficult encounter, or that he's got much going on here, but it's a hell of a lot more than fucking Salad Fingers had, isn't it? You know, at least this guy gets fought. And now he's dead. He just falls off because he's rather terrible like that. That's rough, buddy. So now the building's exploding. A bit, anyway. Like, it doesn't actually take... Like, you'll see. The building doesn't actually get exploded, despite very clearly exploding before our eyes. We are currently running away. It looks very scary, because it actually engulfs you, but it's all fine. All is well. And now we've done it. Now we've done it. We're now going to skate around the side of this chandelier, and we're going to break these weird, pulsating, like, flesh mounds that are attached to it. And we will then float up. We will then drop upwards towards our destination. Because this tower makes a lot of sense, architecturally. This must be a very delightful place to work in, a lot like the Umbrella Mansion. It makes perfect sense to navigate this building. We are now at the top of the skyscraper, which has this whole thing going on. And we're now going to go meet the antagonist for the first time, because we haven't actually met him this entire game yet. He is the reason I like the Lumen Sages more than the Umbra Witches, because they are... This guy's fucking fabulous, okay? And we see a Lumen Sage in 2 as well. He's also fabulous. They're fabulous. I'm gonna say they're like peacocks, and eventually... you're not gonna understand that immediately, but... calling them peacocks is, like, correct on 2 levels. You'll see. So that's quite terrible, but I also missed like 5 stages. Yes, I did do this stage once before, by the way, and I'm redoing it again now because I got to the end and then realized it was not recording sound from the desktop, so I had to start again, which was delightful, but this stage is quite short, so you know. That's where we are right now. We're now gonna go and meet the Lumen Sage on the stage called the Lumen Sage. So let's go get the skinny on the plot of the video game. It barely makes sense.
What follows those living in the light is nothing but the profound, empty darkness born from the shadow that grows longer as they approach the brilliant radiance. To truly see, your eyes must be open to both light and dark. Don't you agree, my dear child?
Mummy's here! Mummy's here! Mummy!
Little one.
You've arrived, my dear, sweet Cereza. My, why the grim face, my dear? As a child, your smile was warmer than the sun.
So, you are the last of the Lumen Sages.
I am indeed. My name is Balder, but if you so choose, you may address me as Father. There is much you have forgotten. It has been 500 years since we last met. If your memories were still intact, this would have been a much more emotional reconciliation.
How did you get the girl?
Where shall I begin? We, the Lumen Sages, and your Umbra Witches, have long been the overseers of history, each bearing witness with their own eye. This is how our universe's existence was preserved. However, for 500 years, you have been exiled from the world's affairs. You are the left eye of the eyes of the world.
Could you dispense with the riddles and just tell me what these sodding eyes actually are?
Your years of slumber have caused you to forget many things, even as we stand on the verge of the resurrection of the Creator. The resurrection of Jubileus. There is but one way to return your epic of forgotten memories and open your Eye of the Overseer. Your uncorrupted eye had to be exposed to the history it could not see. Your battles, your struggles, everything you've experienced in this town has been a stepping stone for your enlightenment. It has all been done for the left eye.
I've had enough of your philosophical pretensions. I won't ask again. Where did you get the girl?
Your question has been answered. All this has been done to awaken the left eye. For that, you had to see yourself once more.
You are truly beyond salvation, sage.
Salvation. Such a curious word. I mark the path to salvation with light. However, no matter how brilliant that light grows, the darkness within the human heart grows even darker. Light, dark, and chaos between. Three realities, once split, shall be brought together to create a new universe in the image of the old. To these ends, leading to the Festival of Resurrection 500 years ago, I fanned the flames of terror, spurring on the witch hunts. However, despite the people's belief in the return of Jubileus, the Creator, the left eye was out of reach. Since then, I have devoted myself to this town's prosperity. And now it is time for my preparations to bear fruit. Jubileus will be resurrected. We will become the eyes of the world, and a new universe will take over.
Mommy!
I could never call the man behind this nightmare father.
Great speech, big guy.
Luca.
Getting a bit ahead of ourselves, aren't we, Mr. Big Shot Ithaval Executive? Salvation, light. You take this entrepreneurial philosophy a bit seriously, don't you? But it's all diarrhea of the mouth, if you ask me. History is littered with famous genocidal figures, just like you. Or, should I say, infamous genocidal figures.
You must be Luca, journalist extraordinaire. I must say, I'm truly impressed you've made it this far, child. Like father, like son, I suppose.
What?
Luca. Your father had problems with my philosophies. It's fine to investigate. But when malicious rumors start to spread, I must see to it that they come to a stop. For being kind enough to ascertain that my long-lost eraser was at the bottom of some lake, I granted him his final wish and accepted his permanent resignation.
You bastard!
You are of no use to me. However, am not without dignity. I will allow you to die in the same manner as your father. Well, I guess my plan has gone right out the window. Such a shame that sacrifice had to be made. But if destiny is not fulfilled soon, this tragedy will be repeated ad nauseum. Speaking of tragedy, I suppose you've met Jean. While she sealed you away and kept you from trouble, after falling into our hands, she's been incredibly useful. Although her distinct lack of obedience required a bit of mental reprogramming. Her tragic end led you directly to me, just as planned. The time for awakening the left eye is soon. Fear not, my dear, sweet Cereza. That's it, Cereza. Do not fear your fate. Stand tall, my child. Realize your true potential. Cereza, we are one, my child.
Alright, we must now fight Baldur whilst falling off this building. Feel free to time how long we're falling, because boy is it a long time, and yet we never hit the ground. So, you may notice he hasn't got very many health bars. Well, you'll understand. It's not as simple as it looks. So, I like Baldur, he's fucking fabulous. You see this guy? You see this fucking floating peacock over here? Baldur is he's a fancy-looking man. I also hear his gaits are beyond compare. That's an awful joke. Let us never speak of this moment again. So he can do quite a few things during this fight. If you remember Hot Potato with Jean, we get to do that again, but in a more serious manner. Hopefully he actually does it, because sometimes he doesn't. You also cannot proc much witch time off this guy. You have to dodge the last part of his combo, which basically means the entire combo. This is a very big building, though. It's fallen for some time. He has a kill sat. Like, it's just what he has. Why does he have a kill sat when he's got fucking divine powers? Don't worry about it, he just has one. It's just what he wanted. Do you mind coming back over here? No. There's one thing he can do. That is absolutely incredible, and I very much hope he does it because you will not believe it. If I were to describe the event to you, you would not believe it. You would have to see it with your own eyes. Here we go. We've beaten him. But wait, there's more. Just straight up fucking kills it, dog. No, none of that. He ain't having it. He ain't gonna get munched. So as you can see, it does actually have more than one health bar. It's just that it's just obfuscated. No, don't even try it, dog. He's quite easy. Honest. Oh yeah, this is what we want to see. This is the one. Oh, I fucked it up. I fucked it up. I swear to God I pushed both the buttons, but I guess I was just out of sync. Well, hopefully he does that again, because it's fucking incredible. And once again, the moral is, I'm bad. Yep, more. He's got more. He can do something else with the kill stat. Hopefully he does that as well. Look at this fucking... He's like the fucking moonlight butterfly floating through space. They're fabulous. Incredibly evil, but like very fabulous still. You know, in case you were unclear, the whole angel business, they're not exactly good people. To be fair, the Umbra Witches are not much better, because oddly enough, I don't think the literal devil is that nice of a guy. But, you know, the angels are no better, as it turns out. So this is pretty much the whole fight. I do like the fight a lot because it's very flashy, but this is, you've basically seen everything at this point. With the exception of the other climaxes. No, don't you dare. You come back over here. Will it work? Will it blend? Hydraulic press versus Lumen Sage. No, it doesn't. Look at it. Look at it. Look at this guy. You see that? He's fabulous. No, stop. Don't you dare. Yeah, so as you can see, also, yeah, falling for a long ass time. You can even see the bottom if you look, but it just doesn't ever get any closer. No, do you mind? Do you mind? Do you mind? I'm over here saying that this fight isn't incredibly taxing, and then you go and do this to me? How fucking rude. No, don't. There's a moral to be learned in that, but I will learn nothing. Oh, here we go. Alright, here we go. You ready for this one? Yeah! Yeah! So upset I fucked up the other one. That's even more serious. No, don't, do not. Oh my god, do not. No. Alright. Here we go, we got him.
Don't fuck with a witch.
But now, like Wanted, my favorite movie, we must curve the bullet.
May Jubileus, the Creator, grace you!
I've got to give you credit, Bayonetta. You never cease to impress.
You haven't seen the half of it.
I've seen enough. Well, that about wraps it up, huh?
Not yet.
Mommy! Daddy!
No need to be afraid, little one. The nightmare is over. Everything was just a dream. You're a strong little girl. There is nothing you cannot overcome.
Mommy? Did you find it? What you were looking for?
Yes, I found it. So don't you worry anymore. You just keep your treasure safe too. Sweet dreams, little one. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words. When you love something, never lose it. Understand, little one? You must keep it safe, close to your heart. I'm not afraid anymore, Mummy. No matter what. There's nothing I cannot do.
Bayonetta! What's happening to you?
And now it is done. The right eye oversees the light. The left eye oversees the darkness. 2 eyes to oversee the world. It was never the woman known as Bayonetta that I set my sights upon. It was you as a child, Cereza, that I sought. For she was the one who saw the world through innocent eyes, and she was the one who could give rise to a new history. It was her energy that could awaken the left eye. This has all worked out splendidly. Let us begin, Cereza. The time is at hand. Now, the resurrection of Jubileus shall be completed. We are the eyes, overseeing the world. We are the eyes, overseeing a new era, a new reality, to which we will devote ourselves eternally. May Jubileus the Creator grace all of its creations.
Everything is terrible. There's one stage left, and it's quite serious. However, also, Bayonetta is presently indisposed, so we will have to ask another member of the cast to help us. As you can see, she also does not appear in the menus anymore, even. So, now... Gone. Let us now go and begin the epilogue, which is very serious business. You'll see, it's intense.